Hey guys, welcome to another how-to video with Matt Waters. Today I'm going to show you how to make this simple farm style wall shelf. But first, you're going to need a few things. Things that we're going to need is a miter saw that's capable of cutting angles like 45s. You need a tape measure. You need to get yourself a pen or pencil. You need some 2x2 lumber, some 2x6 lumber. You need to get yourself a sander with 180 grit sandpaper. Of course, you're going to need some screws or nails with maybe a hammer or an impact gun. You're going to need to get yourself some white paint, and then you need to get your choice of stain. Alright guys, so for our first cut, what I want you to do is take your 2x6 and you need to cut 2 out at 2 foot each. Went ahead and did that right there. Alright guys, so our next cut, we're going to move to our 2x2s. We need to cut out 2 at 11 1/4 with a 45-degree cut on one end. And that's what that looks like right there, guys. You want 2 identical, and you want to make sure that you got one flat side here and it goes up to 11 1/4 to the tip, and you want to have a 45-degree angle on there. Alright, so for our next cut, we're still on the 2x2s. You need to make sure that you got 2 cut out 9 inches with a 45 on one end also, just like we did previously with our other one. So you want to make sure that this is 9 inches from this tip to your flat part, 45 cut, 2 of them. Alright, and for our final cut on the 2x2, we need to make sure that we have 2 at 6 3/4, and you want to make sure that you have 45s on opposite ends. So let me show you what that looks like. You see these right here, guys? So from this end to this end is 6 3/4. You want to make sure you cut a 45 this way and a 45 that way, like a trapezoid. Alright, so the very next step after you got all of your boards cut out is you want to run them through the sander. I've went ahead and ran every one of these boards and sanded them down nice and smooth, and they look great, right? So now what we want to do is take all of our 45 cut pieces. These are the pieces that we're going to paint white, right? So what we want to do is go ahead and just stick these to the side for right now, because we're going to attach these later and then we'll paint them while they're attached. So you want to stick all these pieces together. Now is when you want to make up your mind. What do you want to do? Do you want to leave it bare wood on your top of your shelf? Do you want to paint it a certain color? Do you want it all white? Some people like them all white, or you can stain it. I'm going to stain it, guys. I'm going to use this stain called a Jacob Bean. And let's go ahead and get this stain first so this can be drying. Then we'll go and assemble our frame. Alright, so I got my Jacob Bean brown color stain right here, and I got me a nice shop rag right here, guys. I'm just going to be careful with it and go ahead and soak some of that up into there. And then we want to go ahead and spread it out all over our piece. You'll make sure you get it all good on there. Make sure you get it all rubbed in nice and even. You want it to dry nice and even, and it may take another coat. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all of these wiped down with this stain, and we're going to let it dry for about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and give it one more coating just to make sure we didn't miss anything. So just keep staining those until you get that all the way stained the way that you want it, or painted the way you want it. Alright, so we finished staining every side right here. We got top, sides, back, even the sides right here. So now what we're going to do is just let that dry for about 2 hours or so, and then we're going to go ahead and start building our frame to be painted. Mention real quick right here, guys, what we're going to do is split our pieces up into 2 groups, one of each measurement, right? So you got these 3, stick them over here, and you got these 3, you got them over here. So listen to the order we're going to do this in. You want to take this one right here. You want to stick it, line it up just like that right there. Then you want to go ahead and nail this or screw this together, whichever one that you're using. And then you want to take this middle piece right here, and you want to stick it in place after you've screwed this in first. And then you want to go ahead and make sure you get a screw and nail here and a screw and nail there, and that'll be one part of your frame right there. And then let's go ahead and show you how I did that again. So you want to take your longer piece on the back side right here, then your middle piece, and you make sure you line them up just like that. Alright, go ahead and get them attached and nailed together. Then you want to stick your middle piece in right after you've done that, just like that. And then that'll be both sides of your shell. So go ahead and get those together, and then we'll be ready for the next step. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to take my pen right here, and I'm going to make some marks on the outsides where I know I need to drill some pilot holes. So I want to make sure I got one right here on the back side of my longest piece right here. I'll make a pilot hole mark there. And then on the back side of my longest piece on this side, I'm gonna make a pilot hole there. Then what we want to do is make sure we got our piece right here in the middle lined up where we want it. And go ahead and make another mark for a pilot hole. Alright, and then we'll come to the other side and just make our marks, and then we'll get ready to drill our pilot holes. Alright, so for my first 2 pilot holes, I just want to make sure that I get it where I wanted it, and make sure I'm dead center, and drill a hole straight down. Make sure you do that with your other piece. Alright, so those are those 2 holes. So now what we can do is go ahead, line these up just like that. And if you want to, you can take a clamp and clamp these 2 edges together, and then shoot us a screw in there and go ahead and join these 2 pieces first, and then repeat that with the other one. So the way that I'm going to do it is I went ahead and clamped my 2 pieces together, drilled a screw about halfway in but not out the other side yet. Make sure I got both my pieces lined exactly the way I wanted it, nice and tight, and then I can go ahead and drill my screw in. Alright, and you want to make sure you get it nice and tight. Alright, so once you get it screwed together, what you want to do is just prop it up like this. You want to make sure you got it nice and tight, and go ahead and sink your screw down a little further. You want it nice and snug, just like that right there, guys. So then you want to go ahead and do that with your other one. Alright, so now we got both of our top parts right here screwed together. So now you just want to take your middle pieces like that, and you want to make sure that they're nice and flush and sit just like that, and they're going to be the perfect measurement because they're the exact same. So what I like to do just to help me out here is that we need to get that nice and tight and snug, right guys? So you just kind of look around, see what's the best way. Like, that's not going to be a good snug fit because that's going to go through the other side right there, right? So what I like to do is just look around, but what I'm going to probably do, guys, is shoot one from the back just like this. So I'm just going to put me a marker right here in the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this back side. Put me a little mark in the middle. And then I'm going to come around and I'm going to come through the top plate right here. So I'm going to put a mark in the middle of this back side right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this back side right here. So now we can go ahead and drill those pilot holes right there. And once we drill those holes, then we can shoot our screws in. Alright guys, so I went ahead and put me some pocket holes right here. So what I want to do is go ahead and shoot my screw in, keep it nice and tight with my hand. You probably won't need a clamp for this. And just go ahead and shoot a screw in right here. Alright, and then we'll come around, drill us a hole here with a pocket hole, and shoot a screw this way. And you want to repeat that with your other board too. Alright, and from screwing all that up, these right here can get twisted a little bit. You can see that one right there is just a little over the ledge. So all we're going to do is just take a clamp that down nice and tight just like that. And we can go ahead and shoot our screw into our pocket hole right here that we made. So let's go ahead and get a screw in there. We'll shoot a screw in our other holes. Nice and tight. And you want to do that with both your pieces, guys. So this is what you should have by now. You should have 2 frame pieces right here, and this will be what your top shelf sits on. What you need to do is go ahead and paint it the color or stain it the color of your choice. So in my case, I'm going to be painting these a farm style white. So let's go ahead and get these painted now and still continue to let our top dry. Alright guys, so we went ahead and double coated these pieces right here with our white paint. So we're just going to let that dry some more, and then we'll be ready to assemble our final part. Everything has dried and cut. Action. Alright guys, so we are back. Everything has finally finished drying our stain and our painted pieces. So now what we need to do is attach these 2 pieces together, right? So what we need to do is we need to come to our corners. On each corner right here, we're going to mark a mark for the screws, right? So you want to make sure that the ones that you like the most is facing up. These are the 2 sides that I like the best. So what we're going to do is come in one corner, and you want to come down about 1 inch, and then you want to come in about 3/4 and put you a little dot right there and mark that. And then what we're going to do, guys, is after we mark all of our corners just like that, remember, come back 1 inch like that, and then 3/4 of an inch, put your mark. Then you're going to go ahead and mark all 4 corners. Then we're going to go ahead and drill our pocket holes and get this thing screwed together. Now that we've got all of our corners marked for our holes, we're going to go ahead and drill some pocket holes in there. We've got all of our pocket holes drilled. Now you can just take some screws and just drill them about halfway down. You don't want to go all the way through yet. Just want to drill them, get them in place. That way you're not struggling when it's time to put it together to get a screw in there. So just go about halfway down. And do that for all 4 corners. So let's get this thing put together. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your shorter piece right here is the back side, and the longer piece is going to be what holds your 2 boards on each side, right? So what I want to do is I just want to face the back towards me first, and I want my board that's wanting to be the back side facing backwards. You want to just go ahead and stick it up just like that to get it lined up good. And then you can take yourself some clamps or something and clamp that together. And what I like to do is go ahead and put my other piece on the other side, get it lined up, that way it'll balance itself. Then we'll go ahead and shoot those screws down. Alright, so now that you've got your back board lined up and clamped down to where you want it at, now you can go ahead and shoot your screws in there. Alright, so once that's been screwed down, you want to come around and flip it up to the front piece, and you want to make sure that your piece lines up on both sides of the fronts right here. Get that nice and parallel, and then go ahead and clamp that down and then screw those down also. So now everything is put together. There's many options to mount this shelf. You can put brackets on the back, you can use right angle brackets, you can use side brackets. What I like to do though is just drill little pocket holes. I put one in this corner, then I pull my tape measure down and mark 22.5, and then I popped another pocket hole right there, guys. So now I can just go to my wall, put one screw in, pull my tape exactly straight over to 22.5, make that mark, put my screw there, screw it into the wall decent, and then I can just flush mount it right here. We have went ahead and mounted our shelf to the wall. As you can see, it turned out to look great. Everybody likes it. You can see the top with the stain. It turned out real lovely and goes well with our kitchen decor. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more awesome videos. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Peace.